Hey everyone, this is Nick from NXT Plants. In today's video, I'm going to be going through some of my old plant photos so you can see what some of these plants around me looked like when I first got them, as well as some of the plants I started collecting right when I was first learning how to grow plants. The first plant I'm looking at here is probably, I think, the first quote-unquote like rare plant I went through like Facebook groups to sort of find. That's a Monstera Peru. I don't actually grow this one anymore, no particular reason. It didn't continue to size, and I'm not really a big fan of keeping plants on moss poles, and I found when it was trailing, it had gaps on the vines, and I didn't really like that. So, I don't know, some sort of plant purge I did a few years ago. I passed it on. Yeah, fun to see that. I've thought a few times about getting a variegated one, but I have to say, it just doesn't really do it for me the way some of these other corrugated plants do. Okay, this next photo I'm looking at was the first sort of prop shelf set up when we moved into the tiniest little dorm room together. We took one of the built-in shelves and hung a fluval fish tank light from the old fish tank I had before we moved in together. And this was our sort of first experience using grow lights. And I mean, as you can see around us, it was a pretty positive experience. And we still do use this light in one of our tents. Yeah, we just had it set up on this shelf with some old food containers as prop boxes. And I mean, I think I can see the albo. So a tiny little albo, one leaf there. That's the same albo that's back there. Just been propped a few times in between. There's also a pink princess. I don't grow that anymore. Oh, I see a melanochrysum. Don't grow that one anymore either. Some sort of pothos. And then I can't really see what's in the prop boxes. It's all too misty. That's fun to see. This is, I think, my El Chaco red, the day we picked it up. So we got this from someone who lived downtown, so it's just coming back to university where we both went in like a brown paper bag. Absolutely love the Chaco. I still have it to this day. It's about this size now. I killed it, like rotted all its roots on a repot, so then I propped it. So it's taken it almost a year now to get back to being like a good sized plant. It used to be huge, huge, huge. I can insert a photo we have when it looked its biggest and best right before it rotted. Here's a picture of the Jose Bono. This is one I also still have. This is pretty early on when I first started growing it. I think this is probably 4 or 5 leaves after I got it. I got it as a one leaf off of a mid-cut. Absolutely love the Jose Bono still to this day. It's probably the only plant that goes from white to green that I like, but I appreciate it for the sentimental value. It was one of those first variegated plants I got, and it was probably like my best growing out of any of those first ones. The only one that really gave me any good color. The rest were kind of poopy because I didn't know what I was doing when I got them. Here's a fun photo from, again, back when we were in that dorm room. It's a queen import that we killed. This is actually, we didn't buy it directly. This was someone bought it at one of those orchid sales and we bought it off them thinking we could acclimate a queen to a north-facing window in winter. No humidity or anything. And it's one of the first anthurium we got. Oh, might have been. Did we have the? I think we had the clarinervium at this point. We didn't have the crystallinum, so I think this was our second anthurium. It did survive until the winter the following year, where we tried to have it live right by the front door that opened, out to winter. And first cold snap, the thing withered away to nothing. Okay, I'm gonna show you this photo just so I can shit on the plant. This is Corbin's jade succulent that I hated, and it had this horrible sort of growth of some sort of disease on it, and he would not throw it away. Would not throw this plant away. It had a disease that you could, if you touched it, like left a nastiness on your finger. It was terrible. And then around it is this beautiful Syndapsis we had on the wall behind our bed. It never survived being taken from that spot. Okay, so now I'm getting to the point where we have our photos right after we moved to the island. So you can see like on the kitchen island, like a Birkin, our basil, some Brantianum, and we were growing these plants in ambient. This was before we really got bit by the anthurium bug. Oh my god, you can see the dying queen that I was talking about earlier that didn't make it through winter, peeking out in the corner there. Here's the clarinervium early on, and I said this is, I think, this was our first anthurium. Got it from seed from someone. Oh, here's the El Chaco. Once we got it situated and growing in a pot, and behind it, you can see poking out the albo. These were all again growing in ambient on just like an IKEA shelf in our living room. Try and look more at the camera, but I'm just accepted that this video is, I'm going to be looking down at the computer. Here's a fun one. This looks like the anthurium crystallinum right around when we got it because it's in the original pot. And this was, again, the second that's still alive, if you don't count the queen we killed in the middle. This is one of the other anthurium that really got us hooked. It's, a nice crystallinum, the velvet and the veins, and how thick we were so used to growing philodendrons that have like much thinner leaves. We really got hooked on the thick velvet leaves. And we'll say the crystallinum grew a lot better for us than the clarinervium seedling we had, and it really motivated us to get more into anthurium. You know, whenever you have like a species, or not a species, sort of like a genus respond well to your care, I feel like it's always motivating to learn more and get more into it. Oh my god, I came across the pictures of the cat the day we got her, and I think it would be criminal for me not to show you this one photo. It's her in the crate. When we went to pick her up, the cute little face. So I'll include that because I couldn't resist. I'm gonna show this video of her as well the day we got her. You can see a dying Syndapsus in the background. That's the one they said that never really recovered being taken off the wall. Here is the IKEA greenhouse cabinet. So this is our first time playing around with sort of a enclosed humidity environment, and also a good opportunity to peek and see some of our earliest anthurium. So I'm looking at the crystallinum down there. I see the king of spades. I didn't pull that one out for this video. You can see it hiding down there. There's a crystal hope, I want to say, down there. Oh, the Bessiaf. That's fun. It's nice and big now, but there it is. I think when we first got it as a rehab. And then up on the shelf, we've got, looks like those two papillomenum hybrid seedlings from the Northern Plant Room. Yeah, this was fun. I think if anyone else has made the plunge and gotten there like a tent or an IKEA cabinet, you really understand, like, once you get a feel for how well things respond to the higher humidity and heat, you really can't go back. Okay, this is a bit of a sad one. Kind of forgot about this plant. This is a variegated billy that died. It didn't have good enough marbling. Bought it from TC. The seller showed different plants than what we ended up receiving. They're also delayed a really long time. It was like all around like a bad situation. I think everyone out of the orders, lots of plants, everyone's was complete trash and rotted. So yeah, not a fun one. Show you the cabinet. I think this is one of the last times we set it up before we got a tent. You can see our first successful attempt at a queen. We bought one that was already landed from a Canadian seller. The crystallinum's still in there. There's a luxurians in there. The Bessiaf, you can see hiding behind the doors hardware there in the middle. Not looking good. Still being a rehab. It ended up needing silica, I think, to finally sort of get going. Choco, I talked about that earlier. Some other philodendrons. Oh, you can see the king of spades again back there. This was right after import, so I guess not too long after the other cabinet photo. I think this is like the span of one leaf. Yeah, and then again, the Crystal Hope, and this was a prop box we used to use for seedlings. You can see we have a lot more prop boxes now. I'm surrounded by them, but this is where it all started. I'm gonna jump to when we first got the tent. Okay, this has gotta be a photo of probably like day one of getting the tent. We haven't bought the shelves yet. We're still like kind of using our ambient setup, just moved into a tent. Nothing really to say other than that. I will show you what the tent looked like once we were moved in too. So here's the photo of that. This was at our old place. Now let's get into the baby photos of the anthurium around me. Ooh, I can insert the photo from today of this guy. This was our NSE dress the day we got it. So we grew it from pretty tiny, and it kept rotting its growth point until sort of sorted its stuff out, and it's been growing pretty steady ever since. Here's the BVEP I was holding up the thumbnail. I think this was right when I got it. I think this is the size it came. Itty bitty. It's been fun to grow up. It's struggling now. I really need to repot it. It is not happy with life. Doing the berries and not being in the ideal pot setup is definitely taking the toll on it. And I just pollinated it again, and it looks like it successfully took. So I need to get on giving it a better pot. And I think I'm gonna move it into like this kind of setup again. That's just what's been working for me. There's so many photos of the cat, and I keep getting distracted looking at them. I think this was my first anthurium flower, at no ID. Oh, I'll insert a picture of the mother plant since I didn't bring out the Wonder Boy, but here's the Wonder Boy A from Scott. I think this was the day we received it. I try to take photos when we first get a plant potted up, or if I didn't take one when it was in its packaging. Yeah, this is what it looked like when we received it. Oh my god, found the Clademioides photos. It was just like a rotten mess when I unboxed it. That's what you're looking at there. None of those leaves survived. They're all mush. Everything was regrown from one of the top cuts that managed to survive. Ooh, here we go. I found the picture of the Fort Sherman when I unboxed it from the mail. See, it's not looking the best. I think it's just how plants ship, especially the thinner leaved ones. Good potential. Beautiful pap. No complaints. And I mean, look what it turned into. How could I ever say anything negative about this plant? And I will say, this is definitely the plant that made me go, I get it. I get the anthurium hype. I get the expensive anthurium hype. I absolutely love this plant. It's still like one of my favorites. Brings so much joy. I've started collecting the berries from this inflow, and this is it itself. Yeah. Day one. Here's actually a better photo of it. So this was after it was potted up. Now that it's here, you can see I had a good starting point. good sized plant with that one. Got it from a division from my plant friend. If you're in Canada, you can probably, if you're in Canada, you know who. Here's a fun one. This is the Ace of Spades the day I got it. So this Ace of Spades, day one, looks like this. I knew what the plant would look like because I got it as a division of a plant, but kind of fun to see how cute and little it is, but already so dark at such a small size. I really enjoyed growing the Ace of Spades. I know a lot of people have problems, especially with ace pox. I'm very thankful that this one in particular doesn't seem to be too afflicted by it. It's been a relatively good grower for me. Not seeing roots out on this side. Oh, I am seeing roots around the edge at the back here, and the starts of one starting to poke out, and it was potted in here too long ago. So it's not the slowest grower, but also not crazy fast or anything. Okay, here's another photo of the BVEP when it was a little bit more grown out. A couple more leaves in, just figured I'd throw this in here. I figured I'd include this. This is a Tycon I used to have, grew it from TC. I've had a pretty good luck growing out these TC Tycons. Didn't really have any issues with root rot, thankfully. But yeah, it looked really good. I ended up selling it because I needed the space. But yeah, I had a good time growing it. Sized pretty well, pretty fast for me. I enjoyed the Tycon. Would definitely not be opposed to getting another one in the future if I figured out a good lighting solution for a spot in my apartment. I'm gonna power through, I'm gonna power through, I'm gonna power through. Here is a photo the day I got the Nove DF. This is still in the packaging. You can see I got it as a pretty small plant. I think this was like maybe that big on my hand. And now it's quite the beast. I think I measured it the other day and this leaf was 14 inches from here to the tip. And it's got another leaf coming in here. Took some damage, but you can see the beautiful shape. Nice sort of flat winged sinus it gets. Yeah, I was a bit crazy, but I don't know, I don't really have the words to defend getting a DF at this time, but I had no regrets. The thing grows really well. I've begun starting to make some hybrids with it. Some of the more observant people probably caught on at this point. I will say not the easiest thing. I had quite a few fail before, successful ones, and the ones that have taken so far are not the best yield. And that's, you know, to say nothing of the spots that took what percentage actually make it to completion, and of those what percent of the seeds are actually usable. Time will tell, but I am now starting to have success with it actually pollinating things. Cute little one leaf growing off of a mid, so this isn't like the leaves from the mid cut, it's the first leaf off the new growth of a mid cut. I know I said it's been a pleasure to grow, but yeah, it's been great. It grows very, very well. It's quite a hardy plant. It roots very readily, at least in my experience. I don't want to speak to anyone else's conditions or anything because everyone grows in different environments with different care. Just to me, it's been an easy plant, but I know other plants that people find really easy haven't been as easy for me. So everyone does things differently is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to include this guy. I didn't bring the plant out. This is the Bree Gardens pop. This sort of the size it was when I received it. Another cute little plant by division. Don't really know what more there is to say. That leaf is about pinky length or scale. And now, you know, the plant's flowering. It's doing well. Again, it's been a pretty good grower for me. It wasn't the fastest to get going. I find most paps got going a little bit faster, but I can't say it was anything other than something I did wrong. Or the plant, you know, they just sometimes need some time. Once it was established, though, it grows comparably to other paps in terms of speed. So this photo here is the Voldemort itself from Woohoo Tropicals. I think this photo comes from Kate when it was in her care because she brings them across into Canada for Woohoo. Yeah, cute little plant. You could see it was already super dark. But, oh yeah, I should make clear that's this pap right here. It's now flowering, so that's sort of been the theme for why I did this video. All these plants that I'm trying to show are started flowering, so they've hit, you know, a good size. I think it's fun to look back and see them. I'm trying my damnedest not to damage this Carla leaf when I talk about this. Don't really know how well it's showing up. It's pretty dark back there. Here's the pap. And this thing has been such a weed. Definitely the fastest anthurium I have or have ever grown. It's consistently like a week or two faster on the interval between leaves than even other paps, which is just crazy to me. It grows so fast. I don't know what Woohoo does over there. They're doing some crazy things. Here's a picture of this Carla the day we got it. It's still in the seller's packaging. See, it looks a little bit different. It's put on quite a bit of size. Again, it's been another, not too hard to grow. Grows pretty fast. Certainly not as fast as a pap, but I mean, most things aren't. Yeah, it's been a really good grower for me. I'm very pleased with it. And it's now holding some seeds. We're going to start to get berry development, it looks like. The emergent leaf. Oh, here's another picture of that 5x10. Again, you can see the colors come in as it's grown up. And while we're here, I'm going to show you something. And if you know your Dressler hybrids, you could probably tell like immediately that this is a hobgoblin. But yeah, this is what it looked like when it came to me. You can see it was a little bit of a rehab. I never mind a good deal, and this time it worked out for me. The roots were healthy, so that's usually what I go by. Just needed some TLC in the hobgoblin. It's even gone like velvety, and this photo is a little bit more sub-velvet. It's fun to look back at these plants the day they came in and really appreciate how, like, honestly fast some of these ones have grown. I know I haven't been telling you dates, but that was just not even a year ago, this hobgoblin photo. Scrolling to make sure there's nothing else I want to show. Oh, yeah, I'm just going to show some photos now from before, how we used to have our setup. You can see all these like little no drainage cups with seedlings, and I used to find this worked okay, but in my experience these no drainage cups ended up eventually just starting causing me problems, whether it was fertilizer buildup or anaerobic environments, or sort of like a, I don't know if I want to call it sludge, but the sediment buildup at the bottom of the cup becomes a problem. Some plants don't mind it, some plants hate it. I like to keep iterating my plant care, and a big reason why I switched to the sort of reservoir pot style I do is I only have to water once a month. Whereas in summer, some of these little no drainage cups I have to water, I swear, daily. They would rip through the, little bit of water that sits at the bottom. A couple ecoballs deep, if you know what I mean. So many cat photos. Oh, here's a fun. Since I talked about all these plants in this video, you can see the Fort Sherman on the right, DF on the left, BVEP, and then the Wonder Boy. It's fun seeing them together. This is in October of last year. I think I'm going to end it there, since that's a good sort of snapshot of what I was trying to show in this video. These plants grow really fast. I'm blown away that some of these were like less than a year ago and the plants are totally different. I'm looking at like little seedlings and now they're, flowering or about to have babies of their own. So I think we call it quits. I hope everyone enjoyed that. If you have any comments or just want to say hi, feel free to do so down below. I'll do my best to get back to everyone promptly. If not, have a good one. Thanks.